probably one of the worst things that I can think any man could do. Kill your partner and within 24 hours be making love to another woman in their bed.
Rebecca Thorpe was born in 1981. She grew up in the small village of Thorpe, Norfolk, which was described as a place with a very low crime rate. A safe environment for Rebecca to start her life. Her father described her as a little shy, but with a mischievous streak. Although Rebecca found early school difficult, she soon discovered a real love for sport. As a student of Downmarket High School, she excelled at hockey and dreamt of a career as a hockey player. She went on after school to play for the Denver Ladies. Although she would continue to have a love for the sport, Rebecca's life led her down on a different career path. While working at a Saturday job at the Timbers Hotel and Restaurant, she found a love of cooking while working in the kitchens. She decided to leave school and attend college to train to become a chef. She went on to run the restaurant in a pub owned by an old friend, but the job didn't last and she was sadly made redundant 2 years later. It was after her redundancy she would go on to meet Michael Tucker. Michael Tucker was born in 1961 in Swanley, Kent. He was from a large family with 3 brothers and 3 sisters. Tucker left home when he was 17 to join the army, but he soon left. Eventually, after a period of casual work, he moved to Ireland, where he ran pubs and an off licence. While in Ireland, he met a woman who he settled down with and started a family. In 1996, Tucker moved with his family back to the UK to run a pub, the Dray and Horses. This new venture was successful for the first 12 years, but his relationship with his partner was rocky. Around this time, Tucker hired Rebecca Thorpe as a new chef at his pub. He was almost 20 years older than Rebecca, but she was charmed by him and they soon began to have an affair. Because Tucker was a serial womanizer, it wasn't long before his partner began to realise what was going on, and when she discovered text messages between Tucker and Rebecca during Christmas 2008, his cheating was confirmed. There was a big argument between the couple, and afterwards she ended up leaving Tucker and moving back to Ireland with the children. Rebecca then moved in with Tucker at the Dray and Horses and began running the pub. She was popular with the locals and business was looking good, and so was Rebecca's relationship with Tucker. She introduced Tucker to her parents and was looking forward to a future with Tucker, deciding to invest money with Tucker into their own pub. She thought that Michael Tucker was the answer to her dreams. Eventually, they found what they thought was the perfect business for them, the Compasses Inn, in Snettisham, around 20 miles away. Rebecca proudly showed her parents around her new pub, talking about the many plans she had for the place. There was a grand opening at Easter 2009, and it looked as though Rebecca's dream to run her own pub was finally coming true. But Rebecca didn't know when she met Tucker that he was an unstable, cheating alcoholic. He would drink as soon as he woke up in the morning and would consume up to 10 pints a day. However, Tucker was a functioning alcoholic. Locals said he never appeared violent or argumentative. The opposite, in fact. The more he drank, the more affectionate he became. It looked to the outside world that Rebecca was Tucker's pride and joy. Rebecca was not only unaware of Tucker's alcoholism, but she was also unaware of his history with depression. Just 1 week after they opened the pub, Rebecca discovered Tucker on the sofa unconscious after he had taken an overdose. An ambulance was called and he was rushed to hospital where he made a full recovery. He refused to tell Rebecca why he attempted to kill himself. Although the pub was closed for a few days while Rebecca decided whether to continue her future with Tucker, things appeared to be getting back on track on the surface. However, Tucker was becoming more possessive and abusive towards Rebecca. She was attractive and sporty, and he was threatened if she engaged in conversation with customers. He would come up to her as she was serving and put his arms around her to show that she belonged to him. Tucker was becoming a very jealous partner, but Rebecca was unfortunately tied closely with Tucker, not only emotionally but also financially, and it was for this reason that Rebecca felt the need to carry on her relationship. It was difficult though, as Rebecca ran both the bar and the kitchen, while Tucker sat and drank the profits. Locals described Rebecca as bubbly and charismatic, but couldn't say the same of Tucker, who appeared to just sit in the corner, not doing anything. When he wasn't in the Compasses Inn drinking, then he would be in one of the other two pubs in the village, the Rose and Crown and the Queen Victoria. It would not be long before the business began to suffer because of Tucker, and the couple was falling into debt. With the pressures of the business and relationship mounting, Tucker suddenly disappeared for a period of 3 weeks. Eventually he resurfaced in his hometown of Swanley. Rebecca picked him up and he told her that he had been to rehab to get help for his alcohol addiction. Rebecca was struggling to deal with Tucker's drinking, which she felt was out of control. She also disliked the fact that he was in constant contact with his ex. Tucker again attempted suicide during this period and spent some time in hospital. He used his suicide attempts as a way to control and manipulate Rebecca, and although she didn't visit him in hospital, she did move back in with him when he was released, but they now slept in separate bedrooms. Tucker's paranoia and jealousy was further fueled when one of the regulars' wives thought that Rebecca was having an affair with her husband. Though there was no evidence of this, Tucker turned to her and said, "That's not true, and if it was true, I'd get a gun and I'd shoot the pair of them, and you'd find him at the bottom of the Hunt Staton Cliff." This was the only time that Tucker ever made a public threat against Rebecca. Tucker, however, was seething inside, and the thought of Rebecca having an affair consumed him. It didn't matter to Tucker that he himself had recently started seeing another woman. Kerry Danes, a consultant forensic psychologist, stated that men who continuously have affairs tend to be men who are very fragile in terms of their own masculinity and their own ego. People who have affairs tend to be very good at compartmentalating their lives, and they're very good at not only deceiving other people, but also themselves. They tend to become masters at lying and masters at denial. Even though Tucker was busy cheating on Rebecca, he still hated it when she went out with friends or to go play her beloved sports. They would argue frequently over these issues. On March 9th, 2010, the pair had a busy morning run in the pub. Tucker said the day was normal and that they made love that afternoon. They opened the pub again in the evening, and at closing time, Rebecca went upstairs to run herself a bath. Tucker followed shortly afterwards. Tucker said that it was at this point that Rebecca told him that she did not want him seeing his children, and that she admitted to having an affair. There was never any evidence of Rebecca having an affair or telling Tucker that he couldn't see his children. Tucker got changed in his bedroom, and then he said he went into the bathroom to talk to Rebecca. He told her he was going to iron a shirt, but he didn't do this. Instead, he went to his room and got out an illegal shotgun he had. After loading the shotgun, he went back to the bathroom, where he performed an execution-style killing, shooting Rebecca in the back of the head. Except for the blast from the gun, no other noise was heard as Rebecca died instantly. The gun destroyed her brain's core function, shutting her respiration and circulation down almost immediately. The fact that Rebecca wouldn't have known anything was the only comfort her family would have. Kerry Danes would later say that the suicide brain and the homicidal brain are two sides of the same coin, and they both operate in areas of impulsivity, aggression and mood. Tucker goes to a very dark and destructive place when he's feeling hopeless, and that was something that he would usually turn inwards on himself, but on this occasion he turned it outwards towards Rebecca. After the shooting, Tucker took the gun and wrapped it in plastic and placed it under his mattress. In the morning, while Rebecca remained lifeless in the bath, Tucker carried on with his life, opening up the pub, telling customers that Rebecca was away visiting with family or friends. The lies would change depending on who he was talking to. Tucker invited his new lover to the pub, where they had drinks and shockingly made love in Tucker's bed, all while Rebecca still lay in the bathroom and the gun remained under the mattress. The next day, Tucker advertised for new staff for the pub and then spent the day drinking heavily.
He was stumbling all over the place, yeah. He was shouting as well. I remember him shouting, I can't remember what about, but yeah, he seemed like, that night, he just seemed like an a**hole.
Rebecca's body lay in the bath for 2 days, and during this time, Tucker ran the business, carried on with his life as usual. After this time, he emptied the water from the bath and then went on to wrap Rebecca's body in a duvet, then wrapped it in plastic and carried her out to the outhouse, placing the body in a large chest freezer. He weighed the lid down with 3 beer kegs. He scrubbed the bath clean and then carried on with his life once more. Tucker told people that Rebecca was away with her hockey friends, but the lies were piling up, and family and friends were constantly asking where Rebecca was. People were beginning to really feel concerned.
Oh, how you doing, Mike? You alright? Yeah. So where's Becky? I haven't seen her in a while. He goes, oh no, she's out for this weekend. She's gone to Norwich with her hockey friends, all going out clubbing, and they'll be back after the weekend.
Tucker, folding under pressure, made the decision to flee the country 10 days after killing Rebecca. Driving Rebecca's car, a blue MG, he fled to Portsmouth and caught a ferry to the Isle of Wight. On the 23rd of March, 2 weeks after murdering Rebecca, he texted his lover, "It's not your fault, I've made a mistake." When she asked Tucker what he meant, he said, "It's not your fault, it will be on the telly next week." She said whatever was wrong, she could help. Tucker texted again, "Even for murder? I think not. Let me know, it's Beck's. Beck's body in freezer in shed. Don't go near the shed. Just get yourself a good drink. Let the police deal with her." Tucker's girlfriend went to the pub to show the bar staff there the text she had received. One of the barmen had managed to flag down an off-duty policeman outside, showing him the text. They broke into the shed, and the officer opened the chest freezer, finding Rebecca's body. The only part which was visible was a toe on the right foot. Her body was frozen solid. They had to wait until it was defrosted before an autopsy could be performed. Tucker was traced to the Isle of Wight. Police in Hampshire put out a watch on all the hotels looking for Tucker. It worked, and they were able to apprehend him. Eventually, Tucker admitted to killing Becky and told the police where to find the gun he had hidden. Michael Tucker was charged with murder, and the trial began 16th of May 2011 at Norwich Crown Court. He admitted to manslaughter but denied murder. The defence team said that Tucker was suffering from alcohol dependency and depression at the time of the murder. It only took the jury 45 minutes to find Michael Tucker guilty of murder. On the 24th of May 2011, Tucker was sentenced to 26 years in prison. He later successfully appealed this sentence, and it was reduced by 4 years to 22 years. Detective Chief Inspector Jess Fry, who led the investigation, said, "We welcome the guilty verdict for murder and feel that the facts of the case show clearly that Tucker knew what he was doing and carried out a deliberate act. This was obviously a tragic loss for Rebecca's family, and our thoughts are with them at this time. It is important to remember that this event was also a real shock to the local community, who are not used to such horrific incidents." Rebecca's family released a statement following the verdict. "Rebecca was a bubbly, sporty young woman whose life was callously and clinically taken from us. No amount of punishment will bring our daughter and sister back, but the memories and comfort we receive from the local people, clubs and charities that Becky had become involved with have all and will continue to help bring us to terms with our loss. Though now at rest, Rebecca's name and memory will continue with charitable events organised in her name. We would like to thank the legal teams and jurors for ensuring that Mr. Tucker received the sentence that he deserved, despite his feeble attempts to escape the full responsibility for his actions."
An argument can never be that bad that you can maliciously go and pick up a gun and walk back and stand in a doorway and raise that gun and point to someone's head and pull the trigger. If he ever comes out, wherever he went, I'm afraid the female species wouldn't be safe around him. He'd still have a streak in him that, as old as he probably will be, I'm sure he'd still have desires and that were not befitting of the human race. Rebecca, Rebecca is still here, as far as we're concerned. Okay, she's not here in body, she's here in spirit.